By the end of this video, you're going to see the education system in a way you probably never have. Not because I read it in some book, not because I heard from someone else, but because I actually lived both sides of it. Now, whether you're in college right now, thinking about dropping out, already out, or graduated and quietly wondering if any of it was actually worth it, this one's for you. I was a high school dropout, then I got a bachelor's degree. Then I was broke and in debt. But then I got free. And the thing that moved me from one end to the other had nothing to do with school. It had everything to do with something I accidentally figured out when I was 13 years old. Stay with me. It's personal. Let me take you back. I'm 13 years old. No smartphone, YouTube, really no real direction. And then I had this thing I used to do. I I take apart remote control cars. I mean, every single one I got my hands on. It didn't matter how expensive it was because, well, I mean, I wasn't buying them, but my mom spent good money on these things. And I'd have them completely taken apart within 1 week. I wasn't trying to break them. I genuinely just needed to know what makes this thing work. What's inside it? How does it do what it does? And those questions consume me. Now, as you can imagine, they ain't go too well at home. I got in a lot of trouble, a lot. And my punishment, stay home all weekend. No school, no friends, just me in the house. Before smartphones, that's a prison sentence. So what I do, I got bored enough to start reading books on psychology, science, whatever I could find to stimulate my mind. And then because I'm me, I started applying what I read in these books to figure out how to get out of trouble faster. I didn't know it at the time, but I just accidentally discovered my own learning system. Curiosity led to reading, reading led to experimentation, and experimentation, it led to results. And results led to new curiosity over and over again. That cycle I repeated for the rest of my life without ever giving it a name. But school, though, school was an entirely different story. See, my mind doesn't work well when someone tells me what to put in it, especially when I don't see the point. And high school felt like that every single day. And I wasn't alone. I found others who felt exactly the same way as me. And, together we did what teenagers do when they feel like the system don't speak to them. We checked out. Yo, literally. We rotated between each other's houses depending on whose parents were at work. We had this system. Now, graduating with my peers became a fleeting reality. And then one day, it just was not a reality at all. I watched my mom's face go from disbelief to indifference. Like she just ran out of hope. That image hunted me. Adult life hit faster and harder after that. Get a job, figure it out. And eventually I did. But here's where it gets interesting because I didn't stay a dropout. I found grants, financial aid, applied to a university, and somehow your boy got in. And a few years later, I graduated with a bachelor's degree in plant science. And you know what that degree got me? Dead. Before I even graduated. Jobs that wanted years of experience, I did not have. Internships, I could not afford to take because, I had bills. The classic catch-22. I had the paper, I just couldn't eat the paper. Here's what nobody tells you going in. And I cannot stress this enough. Universities are businesses. So they add these prerequisite courses, right? Not always because you need them, but because more courses mean more tuition, which takes time. More time means more money. This system is optimized for revenue, not for your transformation. And I say it not with bitterness. I say it because I wish someone said it to me before I signed those loan documents. Now, here's what stopped me cold. 1 in 4 young adults in this country are functionally illiterate. And here's a part that should make anyone uncomfortable. More than half of them have a high school diploma. So they sat through 12 years. They passed the test. They walked across the stage, and they still cannot fully read. This is according to the National Center for Education Statistics, 2023. So either the kids got dumber or the system was never measuring what we thought it was. So there I am, degree on the wall, debt in my account. And the same question I had at 13 comes back. What makes this thing work? Except now, the thing I'm taking apart is my own life. So I went into entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurship does not care about your GPA, buddy. They don't care about your credentials. It asks one question and one question only. What value can you bring? In other words, what can you actually do? So I went back to the only thing that ever worked for me. Curiosity, reading, experimentation. Those 3. A part of this cycle that I discovered at 13. So I applied it to finance, marketing, business. I watched and repeated it over and over until I built enough to escape the debt and create the life I always knew was possible. That's when it hit me. The thing that got me into college without a diploma, that was my real strength. Not the degree, not the prerequisites. The ability to teach myself anything I needed to know and then go use it. There's actually a name for it now. Self-directed learning. It's the single most valuable skill a person could have. Because think about this. The economy no longer moves in 4-year degree cycles. Today, the tools we use evolve in a matter of weeks. Universities take 2 to 3 years just to launch a new program. And even after all that time and all that money, 55% of those new programs fail. It's according to Rise Education. The gap between what the market needs and what schools are teaching, it's not closing. It's widening. The people who thrive in this economy are not the ones with the most credentials. They the ones who can identify what they need to learn and go learn it on their own, with intention, with systems. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. Your path, however unconventional, however messy, however far it looks from what was expected of you, it's not a liability. It's your curriculum. Every perceived failure was just a lesson. Every detour was just data. You were learning the whole time. You just didn't have a framework to see it that way. Well, I'm building that framework, and I'm doing it in public, out loud with you in real time. Because of people who know the system wasn't built for them to be free. Deep down, you knew the system was lagging, bro. You just needed to hear from someone who'd been on both sides. There is another way. So I want to leave you with one question. I don't want you to answer it fast. I want you to sit with it. Are you still learning the way someone else designed for you? Or are you ready to design it yourself.